Hey, what's up YouTube? Alan here from TraktorTips.com. Now, if you own a MIDI controller like this one, the very first X1, that doesn't have a touch strip, or a similar controller that doesn't have any jog wheels, and you love to beat match by ear, manually, and you're just not digging the pressing of the buttons to do so, then this is the video for you. So I'm a huge fan of beat matching, and just the other night, I was playing around with Traktor and I decided that I wanted to beat match. I don't have any turntables anymore. I don't have a controller with jog wheels, but I just love the tactile feel of being able to manipulate the speed of the music and get it in time. I just love that. That was what DJing was to me. That's what I really enjoy doing. And DJing these days has changed. There's a different way to DJ with loops and lots of syncing and everything, which is totally awesome and it's great. But I just miss the feeling of mixing two tunes together. It's how I was brought up DJing, and that's what I really love. So I wanted to come up with a way of allowing myself to mix two tunes and adjust the speed. Okay, so inside a Traktor, we're going to hit the preferences. We're going to go to the controller manager, and I'm going to create a new generic MIDI. Now, if you're not using a Control X1 and you have another controller that you have access to their MIDI here, you can by all means go in and add your own commands to this table. Okay? When you add in a new command, you want to make sure it's not duplicated by scrolling up and checking for any other yellow lines like this. That means it's a duplicated command. But for this operation, I'm going to turn the X1 into its generic MIDI settings by pressing Shift and Hotkey, and you'll see this lights up green, which gives you a whole new page of commands that you can use for MIDI. I'm going to then hit Add in the device setup section here, and I'm going to open up a new generic MIDI. This gives me a blank slate where I can add in some things. So we're going to do an add in. The add out would be for LEDs. The add in is for commands. So, track common is where you'll find the jog turn. So we're going to select that and create a command for this. Now to set this up, we're going to hit learn. I'm going to turn the encoder that I want to turn it to use, and then you'll see a command come up here in this line. Once that's done, I can turn the learn off. But because it's an encoder, I need to change this section in the mapping details to encoder. Try that again there. Okay. And we're all good to go, apart from one thing. We need to change the device type to Deck A. Okay? So now this encoder will control Deck A jog turn. So this is going to act a bit like a jog wheel. Now, I can duplicate this using this duplicate button. It'll duplicate all the commands that I've just set up, but obviously I don't want the second one to control Deck A as well, so I'm going to change this to Deck B, and then I'm going to learn the command with this encoder here. Turn off the learn, and now we have the jog turn set up on Decks A and B. You can change the sensitivity of this if you're not liking how it behaves by using this sensitivity slider here and the acceleration here, but I'm just going to leave them as standard because it seems to work pretty well for how I enjoy it. But you can by all means change those down the road. So another thing you want to check here is the list of controllers. If you have another generic MIDI operating on all ports, then you may have a conflict and you might be sending two messages to Traktor that are doing two different jobs, completely separate from one another. So we don't want that. We don't want to accidentally say browse while we're doing the jog wheel. So we want to make sure there's no commands that are exactly the same. So as it stands here, this is my other MIDI, so I'm going to go in and turn that off so it doesn't conflict with it. So I'm just going to go in here, change all ports to none on the in and the out, go back, see what else there is. There's nothing else. I need the keyboard on. This generic MIDI is turned to none, so that's off. And my Control X1 is still working as usual. It's set to work. So outside of the generic MIDI, this is all a standard X1, and then in the generic MIDI page, this is whatever I want it to be. So you have a whole new thing to work with here. Okay, so let's see how it performs. So I'm going to press play I'm going to set it up to be master, and then I'm going to play the other deck here. Now it's going to sound a little bit horrible to start with here while I do it, because I'm just going to do it not in the headphones, just so I can show you. And then I'm going to turn to the other page. And we can use this as our jog wheel, just to keep things in time. Okay. So just to show you how it sounds, we'll turn back here. If I turn key lock off, you'll hear it even better here. So there you have it. You have two controls set up for the jog wheels. Now, you can't just use the jog wheels to set up a track. You also need something to control the fader. Now, or the pitch control, should I say. So if you have another spare encoder, you can set these top two to be the pitch control. So once you've sort of jogged it into position, you can change the tempo, do the same, get the tempo right, and then you can DJ as you would if you were using a CDJ or turntable or something like that. So you would go in the same way to the preferences, go to your generic MIDI, and then just do exactly the same, but this time you're going to do it for the pitch control. So you want to find that, the tempo adjust, I believe it's called, which you'll find right here. Do exactly the same, learn, set up the other one, and then I'll just show you. We can move it to deck A, change this to an encoder, close this down, and now this encoder will change the pitch control. So you can really DJ, you can change the nudge kind of function there and the slider there. So now you can get DJing manually by ear and really start to feel what it's like to DJ that way, or just go back to how you used to, you know. It feels good to me to DJ that way. I have a lot more fun. So hopefully you guys have also learned something, and you're willing to give that a go, test it out, see if it works for you, if you've been missing that style of DJing for a while now, and you can get back into it. So I know I love that, being able to use those to set up my DJ system, so hopefully you do too. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please just click the thumb below and share with your friends, and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks so much.